I host a free yoga class every day on Zoom at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And this class is a morning movement and meditation class. In today's video, I want to share with you how I came up with the format or the sequence to that class and why it's so popular. The big reason why it's so popular is it's pretty much the same every day. There's not a lot of creativity behind it, but I will tell you a few ways that I do sprinkle in some creativity within this practice. So I'm going to step back and show you the exact format of this class. By the way, if you are interested in more sequencing techniques and teaching tips, you can join my free Facebook group, Yoga Sequencing and Teaching Tips. And if you want to dive deeper with me in some of these concepts and workshops and trainings and have me be your yoga teacher mentor, I do have a membership that you can join. Fancy Pants membership. It is a membership for new yoga teachers looking to dive deeper with sequencing strategies and cueing techniques and how to verbally express exactly what it is that you want to share in your classes. So I teach sequencing and cueing in this super special secret membership. You can find more information at ashesyoga.com/membership. So let's step back and talk about this morning movement and meditation practice. So I actually segment this into 3 sections. This is why I call it what is known as a sectional style flow or a sequencing method. It has 3 sections that completely could stand alone and be done on their own. They do not connect to each other at all. This is similar to like a yin to yin class or yin-yasa or the yoga that's half yin and half vinyasa. They're 2 separate styles that stand on their own. My morning movement and meditation class is very similar to that. There's a section number 1, a section number 2, and a section number 3. And what are those sections, you ask? They're each 10 minutes long, so it's a 30-minute practice. 10 minutes of morning movement, so movement from head to toe. Because this is a morning class, I want people to energize and wake up, so I start us standing, but not standing here where it's wavy and you're like, oh, so dizzy. You take a wide stance, turn the toes out, bend the knees. This is a horse stance. It's much more flowy. It allows for you to be a little bit off-centered but still feel grounded and strong. And also starts to build up the strength in the legs. So we start in a horse stance and we do movement from our head down our bodies to the toes. So head to toes. Of course, we start with the breath. That's just a given in any yoga practice. So I start usually with a breath-based movement. It's this hands up, hands down, inhale up, exhale down. It's called base breathing. You can do any number of styles. You can even do what we call a wheel breath, where you're circulating that energy. So we start with the breath just to, really feel the breath as we do. And then we do movements from head to toes. There might be some neck rotations, head rolls, shoulder rolls, arm circles. That's my favorite. So after we do arm circles, both directions, we do waist twists, always in a horse stance. And we do side bends, pressing side bends. And it's up to you how you want to do these. So maybe for you, your side bends take both hands continue reaching, or you press one down, one hand over, or I don't even know, what else could you do? Reach, keep the hands connected. When you're doing our waist twist, you can keep the hands just off the waist, or you can reach. So there's a lot of little variations that you can do, and even some pivots. It's sort of more like a fitness warm-up. So it's the warm-up to any workouts. If you've done any workout videos, you know there's always a 2 to 3 minute warm-up at least. So this is just extending it to about 10 minutes. So then we step the feet together and we get down into the legs, where it might do high knees or high kicks and maybe some repetitions of hip circles. So all of these are just repetition type of movements, a little bit faster than static poses. What that's going to do is give you that quick boost of energy and make you feel awake, alive, and get everything sort of just lubricated and warmed up. And that's 10 minutes. And it might be 5 minutes, you could extend it to 15. It just depends on how long you hold in each of the movements. It's a head to toe movement. If that's all someone had time to do, that'd be great. The second section I move into is sun salutations. So if you're a yoga teacher or if you've practiced vinyasa yoga before, you'll understand the sun salutation. It might be sun salutation A, where we're doing this forward fold type thing, stepping back, or it might be sun salutation B. And I give lots of modifications and variations. So the first one, no matter how many times someone has been to my class, I will go slower in that sun salutation. So I go slower to talk about each of the poses, and I also always sell the modification, so I take the knees down in plank pose. I might not bend my elbows as deep, and I give variations. And then we might do it, sun salutation A 3 times. I might even decide to add in a few standing poses that aren't necessarily sun salutation, but simply stepping back. Maybe it's some warrior poses. And we hold a few breaths. But 10 minutes is not a lot of time. I might get 2 or 3 sun salutations and a very short standing pose sequence, and that's about it. After 10 minutes, we might flow back down, or we might be already on our hands and knees. No matter what, I actually, just as a little tip, I do like to add a cat and cow, even just before coming down to seated. But I'll have people cross the ankles and sit back, and we do a seated meditation. This finishes our series of morning movement and meditation practice, so it's the meditation portion. And I try to get in at least 8 minutes, if not 10 minutes, of meditation. In this practice, I also pull out an affirmation card from an affirmation deck. And there are tons of affirmation card decks out there, or angel cards, or themes, or something. You could even write your own. But each day is a little bit different because I pull a different card. It might say, I am forgiving, or I am happy, or I am strong, I am so many other things. I am peaceful, I'm calm. And whatever that card is going to dictate what I say and how I lead the meditation. So I'll talk for about half the time with a lot of pauses in there. It might be a guided visualization or some sort of technique I learned for meditation, or it might be simply me just talking further on the affirmation itself and really getting us centered with our breath and our bodies. So I simply talk slowly with pauses about our theme and how to relate it to your life, and then I let people sit in silence for 5 minutes. I will end and say, we're all going to sit here for a few more minutes. I will guide you out when we are finished. And that way people know that I'm not just leaving them hanging, that we will conclude in a few minutes because there is silence. And then to get people back, I tell them to take a deep breath, open their eyes, come back, and I finish with the breath, reach up, hands to your heart, thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And then bow out. And that's it. And then there's always an awkwardness. I mean, it's not as awkward anymore, but I have to get up and do my knee shimmy to end the practice, which is kind of fun. So I hey everybody, bye everybody. So I let everyone on at 5:59 or 6 a.m. right when we start. We wait 1 or 2 minutes, and then I tell people the theme and say, okay, let's get on up. First section is our head to toe movement. Second section is sun salutation. Third section, seated meditation. And like you said, it's a sectional flow or a sectional sequencing style. So someone could take one of the sections out and be totally fine to do 2 of them. You could take the meditation and put it at the front. You could take the sun salutations and put them first. You could mix and match. So they're almost like their own little buckets that you can kind of scatter around and just use one if you wanted to. So that is how I sequence my morning movement and meditation practice. And I do add little flares of changes in there, but for the most part, it stays pretty much the same day to day. And people love it. You don't have to get ultra creative to build a consistent following. In fact, I encourage you to stick with teaching one style, one thing, and making it more consistent than you think you have to. So making it more routine or regular. And that way, your students are going to know a little bit more of what to expect. They gain the trust of you because they know that you're going to teach this specific thing that they need and love, and people just simply love it. If you want to join me for morning movement class, you can do that. Again, it is a free class on Zoom. I do it primarily for me because I love it, but I also like to share it with my friends. And if you want to be one of my morning friends, it's 6 a.m. Pacific time, head on over to ashesyogastudio.com. ashesyogastudio.com is going to take you to my schedule and my studio page, which right now we're just doing virtual classes, or I'm just doing the morning classes. But you'll see a button at the top that says morning yoga. Click on that and the schedule will come up right away. And also, if this was helpful for you for learning yoga sequencing in a different way than maybe you've learned for a 30-minute class, you should definitely hit the thumbs up button and also leave a comment. Feel free to take this sequencing style and use it and make it your own. Of course, tell me how it's going. If you teach more of a sectional class of any kind, that would be awesome. Tell me how it's going. Use this method as much as you want. My goal is simply that there are more yoga teachers out there with confidence to teach their actual classes, and that way there's more yoga in the world, which will make the world a better place. That's it for now. You can check out more at ashesyoga.com and check out my membership, main thing, membership for those of you wanting to dive deeper with me as your yoga teacher, coach, and mentor at ashesyoga.com/membership. I'll catch you later in another video, and if for now you want to keep going and keep learning more on sequencing, check out some of these other videos that I have for you.